Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing a multitude of constraints. Now, there's a couple of you that have been wondering, am I going to go back and finish the Equality Cages series? And the answer is absolutely yes. We're committed, we're going to be solving them. Now, I am still approaching this one with a little bit of hesitation, if I'm honest. We solved something very similar from gUBBLOR. I'm actually going to double check this because I even think it's got the same title, which is why I used to sort of glance at it and think, I've solved it. But I don't think I've solved this particular. I'm fairly confident I haven't solved this particular one. Let me just have a look. So yeah, we've got a multitude of constraints with fog, which was based on shifted lines. This is a multitude of constraints that is equality cages. Hence the difference. Now, don't be too concerned when I flip over in a second and you see a grid with basically every variant under the sink in there. They are going to be all standard rules, standard variant rules as well. So if you're familiar with them, you're probably going to be able to get started without kind of the lengthy explanation I'm going to have to take you through. For those of you that aren't, bear with me. And then as always, there's a chapter at the bottom that you can skip to for the actual solve if you get stuck at any point. Now, given the sheer volume of constraints we're going to be talking about, I've gone for the same concept as before, where you've got Sleuth there on a bridge, where people, I guess, have been locking away their secrets with these constraints, these locks. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets with Equality Cages 1, 2, 3, A Multitude of Constraint by gUBBLOR and Jasura. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and then every 3 by 3 box. Then we have equality cages, of course. Cages must have an equal number of low digits, such as, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, and high digits, such as 6, 7, 8, 9. You have to also have an equal number of even digits, such as 2 and 4, and an equal number of odd digits, such as 7 and 9. No 5s in equality cages, so just keep that in mind. Right, so between line in box 1. So essentially, this cell must be between these two digits. Thermometer between box 1 and 2. Essentially, the digits must increase as they get further away from the bulb end. So if this is a 2, for example, this has to be 3 or higher, and so on and so forth. But what you cannot do is go back down and actually end up being less than anything that has preceded it on the thermometer. Palindrome in box 1 and 4, so these two cells have to be the same. Region sum line in box 2 and 3, so this blue line here, these two cells will add up to a value you're going to have to be able to add in here. So I don't know, let me just make this up. 1 and 6, therefore I would have to place a 7 in here, so that these two sum up to whatever this value is. We have X's and V's in boxes 3 and 5. I've got a 1 and 6 in here. These two cells have to add up to 5, so that would be 2 and 3, for example. And these two cells have to add up to 10, so that could be 2 and 8 as another example. Nabner between boxes 3 and 6. Digits on a Nabner line may not be consecutive and must not repeat. So if that is a 7, for example, that can't be a 7 or 6 or 8. It just cannot be consecutive and cannot repeat. If I go for, let's say, a 4 in here, this cell can no longer be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. That would break the Nabner rule. So it has to be basically anything else like 1, 2, or 9. Right, what else do we have? Parity line between box 4 and 7. So adjacent digits along the parity line must alternate between odd and even. So if this cell is a 2, this would have to be an odd digit, such as 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. And then I would have to go back to an even digit, such as 4, 6, or 8. Obviously not the 2 in the same column. We've got rem bands in, I say rem bands, there's just the one rem band. In boxes 5 and 8, it's there. Digits along the rem band must be a set of consecutive digits in any order and must not repeat. So if this cell is a 2, then these two cells could be 1 and 3, so that they are a consecutive set of 1, 2, and 3. Or I could actually get away with 2, 3, and 4. What I couldn't do is do 2, 3, 5. They no longer are consecutive. Then we've got German Whisper, there's still quite a few. Bear with me. German Whisper. So if, what am I going to go with here? If this cell is a 1, this would have to be a digit that is 5 or more away. That could be 6, 7, 8, or 9. It actually couldn't be a 6 because 6 would require a 1 and a repeat 1 in here. So that is a German Whisper line, and it will oscillate between low digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, high digits, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then back and forth. Zipper line between boxes 6 and 9, and technically 8. Digits an equal distance from the center of the zipper line must sum up to the digit in the middle. That's the digit in the middle. If that cell is a 9, these two cells are going to have to add up to 9. That could be, let's say, 5 and 4, for example. Dutch Whisper in box 8. Adjacent digits along the Dutch Whisper line must have a difference of at least 4. I don't really want to walk you through this. I think it would actually solve it. I'm going to skip this one. Just remember digits, the distance between this cell and this cell, as in, if this is a 6, this would have to be 1 or 2, for example. But that would be true for the entire triangle. Kropke dot, 8 and 9. So we've got 1 here, out, and there. So if this is a 2, this would have to be 1 or 3, so that it is indeed consecutive. And in here, if this is a 2, this would have to be 1 or 4, so that one of them is double the other. No shortage of constraints today. A multitude of constraints, you could say. Now, I know that the rules on the right-hand side are really not legible. Just remember that all of this is in the description down below if you need to reference it. And as always, if you want to play along, so is the link as well. With that said, I'm going to restart the clock, see how I get on. So, I mean, I'll tell you, we've seen this once before in one of Flinty's Dutch neighbors, is it? Dutch flatmates. If you have 3 cells on a Dutch Whisper line in a triangle, it is always 159. And it's quite simple because essentially we're trying to come up with numbers, 3 numbers on the number line from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And the distance between every one of these 3 numbers has to be 4 or more because it's essentially connected almost like in a full mesh. So this cell sees both, this cell sees both, and this cell sees both. And the only 3 digits that would work would be 1, 5, and 9. With the fact that this is an equality cage in here, 5 can't be there. That's a 5, that's 1 and 9. So first digit in under a minute, that's always excellent. The other thing that caught my attention is this region sum line. Right, so this region sum line, because it's an equality cage, the minimum I can make it is 1 and 6. And because equality cages always have an odd digit and an even digit, they have to have a balance of both. The sum of an equality cage is always an odd number. Essentially, if I put a 2 in here, the next one would actually have to be a 7, so that it is odd if the 2 is even. Actually, technically, I can even get away with 3 and 6. What I'm saying, though, is that even if this is a minimum of 1 and 6, this is a minimum of 7, can't be an 8, for the reasons we explained. That has to be a 7 or 9. Now, in equality cages, once you see a 7 or 9 and it's only a 2-cell equality cage, this can only be 2 or 4, and it can't be a 2 on a 3-cell thermometer. That's got to be a 4, so this is 1, 2, this is 2, 3, and we have a bit more of a break-in. Pretty sure that can't be a 1. So the 3-cell, a 3-cell arrow sum, which actually, funnily enough, wasn't in the rule set, but I'm pretty sure is, and I am going to just flip briefly back to double check that it is in the original. There you go. So yeah, between boxes 1 and 4, right. And back to our solve. Hopefully it will resume my time. Yes, it has. Right, so these 3 cells will add up to whatever's in here. And if it's 3 cells, it's either got to have a 1 or a 2. Now, if it's got a 1, if it doesn't have a 1, it's 2, 3, 4, and that would be 9. But I can't put 9 and 1 inside an equality cage. They're both odd. So there has to be a 1 in here. Sorry, excuse me. And because it's got to be a 1, that's got to be a 2, that's got to be a 3. That 2, 3 is looking at that V, so that's got to be 1, 4. No 1 in here. fact, no 1, 2, or 3 in this cell. So this is the high digit. And no 1, so it's not 7 because it can't be 1, 6 anymore. So that's definitely 9. And this is 2 or 3 with 6 or 7 to get to 9. Right, 2 in here means that's got to be 7 or 9. I'm not going to be able to get to 7 anymore because I can't do 1, 2, 4. So that has to be 9. And without the 2, this is 1, 3, 5. 3 ways of getting to 9 in 3 cells. 1, 2, 6, 1, 3, 5, and then 2, 3, 4. The only one that doesn't include the 2 is 1, 3, 5. Not actually sure where to go next. 1, 3, of course, gives me 6, 8. This was a parity line. Adjacent digits along the parity line must alternate between odd and even. So if this is even, this is to be odd. 1, 3, 5, and 9 in the column are all gone. That's going to be 7. This has to be back to even. In fact, both of these cells are even, given this is 1, 9. So this is 2, 4, 6, or 8. We may as well do a bit of Sudoku whilst we're here. This is, I mean, we've done literally all of the odd digits in these 5 cells. This is 6 or 8, and this is 4, 6, or 8. And there has to be a 4 in here, given that can't be a 4, that can't be a 4 as such. One of them is high, one of them is low, so this is 2, this would be 6, 8. If this is 4, this would be 6, 8. To match the 1, 9. Interesting puzzle. I mean, I'm opening like so many, actually Sudoku, since we're still here, 9s, no 9s, no 9s, no 9s, that's the only place for a 9. I was just about to say I'm opening so many fronts on this, but 1, 4 in the same column as a black Kropki dot, I'm pretty sure this can only be 3, 6. Can't be 1, 2, can't be 2, 4, can't be 4, 8. This is 3, 6. Got all of the low digits now, 1, 3, and 4, except for the 2 which I need on this German whisper line. The neighbor would have to be 2, 7, 8, or 9. In fact, all of the low digits are now gone, so this is 7, 8, or 9. This 5 can't be in here, that's a 5. This is another 7, 8, or 9. So essentially we've got a triple 7, 8, 9 and a 2 in here. And I actually don't know what this is. I don't know which one is the low digit. This is the low digit though, and it's not a 2 because we're using it in the German whisper line. So this is 1, 3, or 4. I really want to resolve this cage. I just don't know how. Huh. No 1, no 1. 1 has to be in here on the in-between lines. Can't be in the middle, otherwise one of them would have to be 0. So that's 1. Yeah, tricky now. Suddenly very tricky. Okay. I mean, so let me just think about this. So I haven't used the zipper line, haven't used this palindrome, really haven't done anything with this. So I mean, like, there's clearly a lot of information still on the screen. It's just trying to discern which one is actually useful right now. Tougher question than it may seem. So if this is 2, that's 3. If this is 3, that's 2. Oh, it can't be 3, never mind. If this is 4, can't be 5, that's 3 again. Can't be 5. Can't be 6 because it's 5 and 7. Can't be 7. Ridiculous. Can't be 8 because it's 7 and 9. And can't be 9. So this is 2 or 4. And the 2 can't have a 1 and the 4 can't have a 5. So this is always a 3. Which gives me 6, gives me 3. Gives me 3 in one of these two cells. Look at me now doing Sudoku as I solve, because suddenly it got a lot harder. So this is 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, 4. And obviously that's not a 4 in the same column. That means that this is a high digit in this equality cage, and it's not 6 or 7, that is 8 or 9. I mean, it's fairly obvious, I think, for the zipper line, but now we have proof. Huh. Let's think about it being an 8. Yeah, the challenge with 8 is you can do silly things like double 4. Because it's not an odd digit, so you can repeat a digit. But I mean, if it is 8, it's not 3, 5. It looks like it could be 1, 7, and it could be 2, 6, and it could be... Oh, right, this is not going anywhere. No 3s. 3 is in one of these 3 cells. Suddenly this got a lot harder. I think the advantage when you step through the rules so methodically, you see like a bunch of things that you can solve very quickly. Once you're done with those, you get stuck very quickly. Come on. Obviously 9 is in one of these. 9 can't be in here because that would be a 1. So 9s, 9s, no 9, no 9. That's another digit. Not exactly the landslide I'm looking for. I'm going to be thinking about this equality cage. Well, I guess I should, because in essence, there's another low digit in here that is not 3 or 4. So technically, I have a 1, 2 pair in column 5. So I have 1, 2 with a high digit. And therefore, these 2 cells are high digits. They are not 9, they are 6, 7, 8. Now, that means that there is a 6, 7, 8 with 1 or 2 in here. And I said this can't be a 1, because that would be 9. We've established that. Sadly, it can be 2 with an 8. And I guess that could be 1 up there. Could this be 2? Probably. So 2 and 8 like that works. That would be 1. That would be 2. That would be 4. Looks pretty solid to me. The alternative was 6, 7, 8. So let's just write these down. Obviously can't be 7 because that can't be 3. So not 7. It'll be 6 or 8. So 6 or 8 will be the counter of the 1. The 2 would have a counter of a 7 in here. It can't be 9. So that'd be 1 or 7. And the 8 could have a 2. And the 6 can have a 4. Sorry, I'm needing... Oh, hang on. No 1 in here because of the 1, 9. That gives me a 2, 4 pair. That's a bit better. That means these are 6, 7, 8. Can I get away with an 8? I think I can. I can still have a 1 in here with a 9. Let's think about the counterparts. Bearing in mind this could be 8 or 9. So I think this could be 1, 2, or 3. Technically, yeah. If it's 8, it'll be either 2, 6 or 1, 7. And if it's 9, it's 1, 2, 3 with 6, 7, 8. That gives me all 3 low digits of 1, 2, 3. That's not a 2. That is a 2. That means that this is a low digit. And hang on, that was never a 2. This is 1, 3, or 4 again. And I've got 1, 2, and 3. That has to be a 4. The German whisper line says this now needs to be a 9. That's not a 4. That's not a 9. And of course, because it's a equality cage, now that it's limited to 1 or 3, that can only be an 8. Which gives me down here a 7. And that's a 7. Interesting logic. At 1, 3 pair. Come on, sleuth. 1, 3 pair in here means that's got to be a 2. Can't repeat on the Remban, so that's a 4. That's a 2. That's not a 2, therefore that's not an 8. No 8, in fact, means that's 4, that's 6, that's got to be 1. Neither of these now are 6s. I feel like I should be able to do better still, but like I'm really struggling. No 2. What does that mean? It doesn't remove the 6 or 7 because I still don't know if this is 8 or 9. Haven't really thought about this one. Does it help me? I haven't got a clue right now. Hang on, 2s. That's a 2, just Sudoku. Always do more Sudoku, sleuth. That means that can't be 2, that is 3, that is 6. That means that has to be 1. Still leaves kind of the dream of 8 or 9 alive. It just removes the 6 from in here. That gives me 7, 8 pair, that's a 6. Puts a 6 up here, which is not resolved. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need 5, 6, 7, 8. No 5. So this is 6, 7, 8. And that could be any of them. That is 5, 7, or 8. And I mean, that is literally any of them. Not brilliant. I mean, the top row is starting to look more interesting with 6, 7, 8. In the rest of it, so I have another 2, which is clearly not in here. It's in one of these 2 cells, plus a 6, 7, 8, plus a 3. And the 3 is not here, that's the 3. So there's a 2, 6, 7, 8. In fact, 2, 7, 8 is the rest of this now. 2, 7, 8 as well. 2 can't be on here next to a 1 or 3 on this Nabner. So 2's gone. I mean, it was obvious that was gone because, you know, I needed 1 in row 1. So one of these is a 2. That 1, come on, sleuth. This is very slow now. So 1, 2, 3, 4 means that these are 5, 7. In fact, 9 is placed. No, it's already placed. So this is 5, 7, 5, 6, 7. 5 is fine. I don't think 7 works because it would break both the 7 and 8. So it's 5 or 6 in here, and it can't be 6. That's a 5. That's a 7. That is a 6. That is not consecutive with anything, so it doesn't actually help me anymore. That's not a 7. That is 2 or 8. That 1 is still not resolved. That 1 is resolved. Oh, that's 4. That's 1. Still need a 5 in here. There are no... Oh, yeah. There's 2 places for it. And a 6. There are 2 places for it. Never mind. What are these 2 cells? So there's another 2, 8, 9 plus a 4. An unresolved 4, of course. What about in here? I have another 2, 7, 8. To be fair, not a 7. But another 2, 8. And then 1. And how about the row? Let me just do that. 1, 8, 9. And something else, 5. That was unhelpful. Only not a 9. So in here is another 5, 7, 8 and a 4. And all of them now work on this in between line, so not very exciting. Is that genuinely still 5, 6, 7, 8? Yes, it is. And then more 5, 6, 7, 8s, which means this cell and this cell are the same. And then we know it's not a 5, so it is 6, 7, 8. Which, to be fair, is starting to look very restricted with the numbers of them. So 4, 5, 6, 7. Not quite. The fact that this is still 4 or 5. 4, 4, 4, 4. Which doesn't actually help me with my 5, 6, 7, 8. That I was really keen on. I mean, that's not a 5 though, because of this palindrome. Hang on, why did I have a 3 there? That's 3. Right, let's think about this. So that 3 is not there. It's not there. I have 1, 3, 5. So these two cells, they're not in here. They've got to be there and there. So that means that's got to be 1, 5 as well. And then these two cells are known. They are 2, 9 to complete the row. I've got 2, 9, 1, 3, 5, and then yet again more 6, 7, 8. What's going on with these 6, 7, 8s? This is a bit ridiculous now. That's a 3, that's not a 3, that's a 3. This is a 1, 5 pair. There's another 6, 7, 8, of course. And a 5, which I still can't place. Lovely. It does mean if there's a 5 in here, that can't be 5. That's 1. That's 5. That's 1. That wasn't 6. And this is a 7 or 8. So in here is 5, 7, 8 and another 5, 7, 8. No 6, no 6. No 6 in any of these. To be fair, it can still be down here, so that's not forced. So I'm having a look around now just to see what I'm almost certainly missing in terms of Sudoku. Given there's just so many pencil marks, it will take me a second to be able to see the wood through the trees as usual. So I said I need a 4 down here, which is not helpful. No 7s again, not very helpful. So 1, 2, 5, 7, 8. Just double checking the variants to see if I've gotten all I can out of them. 4 gives me a 9, like the equality cage, of course, that was there forever. 8, 7, no 9s. That 8 probably helps. 5 and 7. That 8 means that's not an 8. That 1 doesn't, I mean, that because I was there all along, never mind. 1, 5, 8. Okay, doesn't help anywhere near as much. I mean, that 7 gives me 8. No 8s up here. That 8 removes an 8 from there. So one of these is an 8. Hang on. Why did I say one of these is an 8? No, it doesn't have to be. Because that can be, yes. Eight has to be in here now, though, because there's nowhere else. So that's not an 8. That is a 6. That is an 8. That is a 2. That is a 7. That is an 8. That's not an 8. No 8s in here. That's a 4, 6 pair. Doesn't actually help me resolve this yet. No 8s in here. So that gives me 7, 7. And therefore 5. And therefore 6. 5, 7. 2, 9 pair. I mean, that's an 8 now. That gives me a 2. Had to be low and high. So that's 2, 6. That's 4. That's 9. That's 2. This is 8. The 5, 7 are resolved. That's 5. That's 7. That gives me 6. That's not an 8. That's not a 5. Okay, we're getting there. This is 1 or 5 to complete the column. This is 1 or 8 to complete the column, and that's not 8. That's, never mind. Ignore what I just said. This is just purely a 9. 9, 1, 9. Doesn't give me my 1, 5. Oh, very nearly there, so fairly happy with the solve, other than the odd clumsiness here and there. I need a 4, which can only be in here. And then I need a 5, 1, 5, 1, 2, and if I've not made any other mistakes, 8 for the finish. It's a lovely puzzle, gUBBLOR and Jasura. No, excuse me. No shortage. It's an overwhelming amount of information. I think you spend a lot of time thinking about what's next and, you know, what's possibly next, but, you know, fantastic puzzle. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle and video, and I'll see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.